Hello, everyone. Good morning and welcome to Wow Wednesday. I am your host, Nancy Matthews, one of the founders of Women's Prosperity Network, and we bring you this midweek boost of motivation, education, and inspiration so that you are consistently moving forward with your life and with your business in the most powerful, peaceful, and prosperous ways. So we're delighted to have you with us today, and especially as I get to introduce you to a very long time friend of my personally and friend and family inside of Women's Prosperity Network. Welcome, Shannon Procise.
Thank you so much, Nancy, for having me. I love your community that you've built and being a part of
Thank
it.
you. Thank you. And we love you right back. And I'll bring Shannon on in just a moment. And we're going to be talking today about creative funding strategies. So listen closely, get a pen and paper. You're going to want to jot some things down here. And she's going to be sharing how to raise capital without debt or equity. And that may sound like the holy grail of how to move your business forward. And guess what? It is. You're in the right place for that. Before we kick off, let me share a couple of announcements in our community, some events we've got coming up. So first of all, I want to congratulate the over 100 amazing women and a few good men who joined us yesterday for our Networking with a Twist. And if you were there yesterday and you're here today, make sure that later today or tomorrow you follow up with those people that you got to meet and start to build those connections with, because you get to be the one for someone and you never know when someone's going to be the one for you. So you got to reach out and show up. Second thing I want to share is tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern, I am starting a 6-week book study of my book, The One Philosophy. And go ahead and go to nancymatthews.com. And right at the top, you'll see a banner that shows you the link where you can check out the book study and join us for this deep dive into living the principles that guide you in being the one. And let me share that you being the one in the way that we teach in the 6 principles and through the course, you being the one is the domino to set everything else in motion. So, right, like if you're waiting for something to happen over here, we need to take it back because you are the one that gets to set the tone, set the pace, and create that beautiful ripple effect in every area of your life. So just go to nancymatthews.com. And I do hope that you'll join us for this One Philosophy book study and course. It's a 6-week course we're going to do together. You get lots of resources when you first enroll. And part of the reason I was inspired to do this book study at this particular time, and this is the 10th anniversary edition of the book, and I've not done a book study in the fashion that I'm rolling it out right now. And I was really called from a very deep level to do this right now, particularly for us in the United States. There's a lot of division there. I see friendships and businesses and families be torn apart by the differences that we're all experiencing and opinions and views. And you all know, I don't need to go deep into that. Learning to live the One Philosophy principles is going to keep intact and even restore some relationships that may have been fractured. So please join us and be part of the solution to creating unity for humanity. So I'm very excited about that. So do join us for that. We've also got some more events coming up, some free workshops with Women's Prosperity Network, Mastermind. So go to the website, womensprosperityNetwork.com, click on the events calendar, and you'll see all the ways that we bring our community together. And it's a great dovetail to speak about community as I introduce my friend Shannon to our audience today. Many of you may or may not know her. And I first met Shannon back in 2008, I think it was, when I was part of her community. So we have continued to build our friendship, our relationship, our business partnerships over the years. And I'm delighted she's here with us to share this very vital piece to owning and operating a business, and that is creative funding strategies. A little bit of background. Shannon Procise is a dynamic business leader specializing in creative funding solutions for entrepreneurs and authors. With 2 decades of experience, she has personally raised millions of dollars for herself and helped numerous projects do the same. She has guided countless entrepreneurs in building solid teams, attracting resources, and securing funding without taking on debt or sacrificing equity. Holy grail, once again. This is the driving force behind the Business Acceleration Network. She empowers heart-centered entrepreneurs to become industry leaders and make the income and impact they are meant to achieve. She guides businesses towards successful expansion through sponsorship, grants, relationship-based royalty sharing, and collaborative partnerships. Sharon is the go-to guide for visionaries seeking to create community and cultivate raving fans. I go to her all the time, just by the way. Her approach is grounded in believing that every voice matters, collaboration is key, and true prosperity is achieved when people unite to support one another. You see why we're so aligned. Welcome, my friend.
Yes, thank you so much. I just want to, if you have not signed up for the One Philosophy, that's really foundational, Nancy, to what I'm talking about today. You know, that everything that you teach in that book is about relationships, because if we're looking at funding, it's you get to be the one for them, and they get to be the one for you. And so thank you for offering that. I know you've got a bigger mission to heal what's happening in the world right now. So hopefully everybody today will share that, and let's get as many people there as we can, because it's important.
Yes. Thank you for that. All right. So, let's back it up, and we'll talk a little bit about your history. I know that our listeners are here today because creative funding strategies, I don't have to go into debt or give up equity in my company. How? Please. How?
Well, basically, I've identified 5 different ways to be able to do that. And today, I'd love to share a couple of stories with them. But one of them we're very familiar with, which is sponsorship, right? This is one that a lot of people use for events, but they don't necessarily realize that you can use it for books, you can use it for podcasts, you can use it for various business ventures.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this is a partnership, right? This is where you do some sort of in-kind exchange. But sometimes, believe it or not, I've done events, and I just had somebody that said, I love your work. We're having lunch, just talking. I love your work. I want to sponsor you. And she just wrote me a $2,000 check, right? It's really amazing, and didn't want anything in return, was just wanting to sponsor the mission and vision to move forward.
That is beautiful, beautiful. And how do you attract those opportunities? I have layers of questions in this. So how do you attract those opportunities? And you know what's coming up right now? I'm thinking to myself, there's like, how do you trust it? Like, you're really giving me something for nothing? That's the first thing that just popped in, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Which goes into how do you attract these opportunities?
Yeah, so it's all about fostering those relationships and being in community. And for me, with this particular one, is I had at this time a thing where every month I was finding a millionaire and taking them to lunch, right? And it was somebody that I didn't know, and I met, and over time we got to know each other. And so in those relationships, it's really taking time to get to know who they are and what are they looking for, right? Really, this is all the one philosophy. And it's so universal in funding in all 5 of these pieces. But in sponsorship, it's you do have to get really clear on your message and what is it that you're doing, and your mission and your impact. And that, there's, again, we have a 5-finger pitch that we do, and just start sharing that. And I love the statement, who do you know, right? It's like, who do you know that might be interested in playing with us? Who do you know that might be interested in supporting something like this? I didn't ask for money, right? That's where it's important because when we seem needy or it's all about the money, sometimes we put caps on possibilities, right? And so
Yeah.
with these ones, I would just, who do you know?
Who do you know? And I love that concept. You said you were in a season of taking a millionaire to lunch. How did that come? Like that? What a brilliant idea that is.
I think I heard some podcast or something. This was like 10 years ago. It was really
Uh-huh.
fascinating. And what was funny is this lady, I was renting a car and she had tons of gold and she was just on the phone and really busy. And we ended up riding in the car to get car together. And at the end, I said, "Hey, I'm on this thing where I want to take six." I didn't say millionaire, but I could tell she was. "I want to take successful people to lunch. Do you mind if I offer you lunch?" And it was just amazing. We had a very long friendship, and she made some great introductions, and retired funeral home owner of like 3 or 4 funeral homes, and just loved what we were doing.
Yeah. And I that's a beautiful concept. And sometimes we think, oh, why would they want to have lunch with us, right? I have found that, like you are doing right here and right now, people who've achieved certain levels of success and their businesses are doing well, they actually do want to show other people the way, right? And save the heartache and not make the mistakes that we made. So seek out mentors, ask people. I think that's a huge part of the equation, not to be just stuck in your little silo thinking you have to do it all yourself, right? It's a big
Absolutely.
piece of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so sponsorships, are there, when I think of sponsorships, I think about, okay, would you sponsor me, give me money in exchange? I'm going to give you this, 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 and this. How do you figure out what to put in a sponsorship package?
So the first thing that I do is I look at what I call assets. What is it that I can give? And I just brain dump every single possible thing that I could give. Now we have chat. Like before, I used to have to brainstorm, look at other sponsorships, and then I literally put it in an Excel sheet, and I start looking at a value, a retail value, and
Hmm.
then a
Hmm.
hard cost, right? Like, what does this cost me to deliver
Right.
this? Because when we do these agreements, we have to be able to deliver what it is. And then I do what I can to not over deliver. In the past, I've been guilty of over delivering. I got to give all of these things to be able to get this money. I create something that would appear to be a 1-1, but I have to tell you, Nancy, and you may know this from all the events that you've done, is most of the time with sponsors, we end up customizing something. I mean,
Yeah.
most people, you sit with them, you talk with them. What are you looking for? What do you need? And most of the time, now that I have my asset sheet and they've seen, I say, well, let's do this, or let's put you here, or we can include you on a podcast, right?
Hmm.
You really can customize things, and that's what people get excited about, that you've heard them, that you
Yeah.
can see some of their needs, and they can see the partnership.
Yeah. And I think that when we put sponsorship in the context of being of service to this other person and business, it really becomes, it's a sales process. And how can I serve you to achieve your goals? How do we align? And instead of, feeling like you're just asking them for money, right? It's a whole different piece. A potential sponsor becomes a client of yours.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love that idea. Get started by just jotting down all the different vehicles and ways that you can be of service to someone. So think about, you may get a sponsor who actually needs help with their messaging. You may get a sponsor who needs help with some area of their personal life, and you could even customize that into the program, right? There's all different ways. Very good. All right. So that's number one. The next one that you said you would share about is the power of relationship-based royalty sharing. What is that?
Yes. So royalty-based sharing, this is a model where you give people a piece of the cash flow when you reach specific benchmarks.
Mhm.
And so this is a really beautiful instrument. I love it because part of what makes it magical in the agreements that we do is that they have to be some sort of participant in what you're doing. So participant isn't just giving you money, right? That's where you get into the old school of let me give you equity and I don't want to say old school. This is where a lot of people do it. This
Mhm.
is a way where they could be speaking at your events. They could be co-marketing. They could contribute something to your business. And usually we look at, okay, a couple hours a month, or we figure out something to where they're in. And a lot of times you do have to have financials because you need to be certain that when you do this pool that you share your royalties with, you have to be certain that your company is going to keep growing with that. And so ideally, we usually take about 10%. And depending on the company, some companies may say, okay, I need to make 50,000 a month. And above that, then we have this pool that we share with our co-vestors. If there's a month where you don't meet it, then they don't get paid, right? So there, you always have to be aware of what are your numbers and set that up front. I love it because we can also bundle it with sponsorships, saying, hey, when you come in as a co-vestor, we're going to do some sort of exchange here. So you can also bundle it with membership. You can bundle it with sponsorship. There's
Mhm.
some very creative ways to royalty share. And from a tax place, Nancy, royalties are taxed different than income. So there's a whole other avenue that gets people inspired about doing it because it actually is taxed a little differently.
hmm Is there, so first of all, I can't wait to have a conversation and learn more about this because this is a new concept for me. And if you're listening in right now, if this is a new concept for you, say, yeah, I can't wait to learn more. Right? Tell me how. So co-vestors instead of investors. That's really cool. Is there a certain benchmarks in your business you need to have to do this aspect, or is it good for a startup? Any kind of
It's
guidelines on
it's
that?
good for any type of company. So for me, one of the and what the other cool piece is, you can have it based on revenue on a certain. It doesn't have to be the whole company. So
Mhm.
pre-COVID, one of the things that I was doing with our events is we were starting to do events all over, and so I was
Mhm.
looking for co-vestors slash sponsors and giving them a piece of the royalty just on the event segment. So you can be a startup, you can be in revenue. But again, this gets down to the one philosophy. When you bring on co-vestors, it's a little different than a sponsor because you are kind of marrying them. You pay royalties
Yes.
over a certain time period, right? And then, um, uh, you're involved with them. So you need to be really mindful of in this instrument of who you play with. But the best part is you get to play with friends. The
Yeah.
other piece that I want to add here, Nancy, that's really important is a lot of people think about, I need money. Well, it's what are you going to do with the money? Because we found in this instrument, people, let's say you need a new website. Let's say you need somebody to come in and be a COO to set up systems and operations. Well, with this type of agreement, instead of getting the money and then paying somebody, you could go right to that technology company and say, here's a royalty sharing. What's your value? If it's 100 grand to build this
Mhm.
website, I know that's
Mhm.
excessive, but whatever that price is. And a lot of times people will engage and do an exchange based upon that. So they're investing their time, their talents instead of their money. So you can just shortcut the whole process.
Wow. Wow. And I think that takes us back to the first point about getting sponsorships is those types of royalty arrangements will best come about with people who are aligned with your vision and your mission and want to see it achieved, right? And creating that win-win scenario where, for the website person, let's say, as you achieve your success, you're going to refer more clients to them, people that are in your network. You're going to say, hey, this is the best web company to go to. So not only are they getting a royalty share, they're getting referral business.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Yeah, brilliant, brilliant. So anyway, I know people are going to want to talk with you, book with you. And so I promise everyone, hang in. We're going to let you know how you can continue this with Shannon in this area of expertise. And she's got lots of areas, just by the way. So she's the person you want to know, because when you ask the question, who do you know, to Shannon, she knows everybody. It's really true. All right. Let's go to the next proven strategies for accessing grants and collaborative partnerships.
Okay, so I have those as separate ones. So if I can talk about grants and funding
Yeah,
for funding programs first.
yeah.
So I know at WPN you also have some great, incredible nonprofits. And so I want to kind of speak to both just for a moment and give a couple of resources. So with grants and funding, again, we are so blessed to have AI right now. You can literally type in there your business, what you're looking for, and ask, I'm looking for grants and funding that meet this criteria. You'll want to put in the number of years in business. Grants and funding from that capacity, a lot of times it's not applicable to a startup. So they do want to know that you're up and running, you're in operations. But as a nonprofit, I'm going to share a quick website. I love Impact for Good. Impact for Good is if you go to impact and the number 4good.com, they are, everybody that I know that has partnered with them, they have learned how to attract 5- and 6-figure donors. So for a nonprofit, they're not going after the 5,000, the 10,000, the 25,000. They have a way of helping you craft your message. And again, I'll hopefully we have time where I can share a couple of things in that aspect. But everybody that I know from churches that have been there, they've left there and instantly been able to go out and get much bigger checks.
Wow.
So again, AI is an incredible tool. Grants, what's so cool about it, Nancy, is you don't have to pay it back.
It's a gift. I grant you this.
Yeah. And so another cool resource is also we have social media. So if you type in business grants, there's a lot of people that share resources on business grants too.
Oh, that's really good. That's really good. So, and the name of that organization is Impact for Good.
Yeah, and it's a number 4. So I can drop that in the chat too.
Yep, I got it.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, good. So, and use Chat GPT, Perplexity, whatever your favorite tool is.
Yeah.
And I just want to give a plug for this amazing tool that we have. Like, as you're sitting down at your computer to start creating or writing something, ask Chat first. Right? It's saving so much time, and that allows you to stay in your zone of genius, right? It's a beautiful thing. So make sure you take advantage of it for grants. You know, if there's something to be done, give that a go first, right? So I think of it.
It's even writing grants for people. So again, you still need that personal touch. It's so important, I think, to, if you can work or engage with a grant writer, because they're used to attracting that type of funding. But I've even seen it write some incredible grants. Again, you ask, what do you need to write this grant? And
amazing.
That information.
Amazing. Okay, good. So that was the granting part. And you said collaborative partnerships is separate.
Yes. Okay. So I'm going to use my book model. And so we've been a part of different, collaborative books. But collaborative partnership is where people can come together to share advertising, share lists, bundle programs. I mean, let's not negate creative financing is also what can you bundle to sell? A lot of times people don't realize that you could just partner with somebody and create something and get an influx of cash with that. So with my book, one of the things I did was I still wanted to keep it my book, so I didn't put everybody's name on there, but I created a partnership where I was like, okay, I'll share the list of who buys it. I'll do a launch campaign, right? So I just, again, made a list of kind of the assets that you would with sponsorship. What am I willing to do? And then I went and found 5 key partners of who do I want to play with and then just pitched them on the book. And so it was really amazing because not only did I get the whole book funded, all the printing, all the editing, everything there, I ended up with a little bit of extra cash for marketing and all
Mm-hmm.
those key pieces. And so was able to do that initiative without anything. And so this same principle applies to podcasts, events, could be membership. Maybe you're doing a membership site. So there's a lot of aspects where you could collaborate with people and shared expense, shared reward.
Yeah, really good. And again, it's about the term thinking outside the box from the perspective, and let's come back to the one philosophy, right? Because who can I be the one for that with these? Because everybody that's listening in, you have brilliant ideas every morning, every night, all day long that maybe are you get stuck with this idea on the how. Well, don't try to figure out the how by yourself. Figure out the who could be involved, right? Who else could be involved? Who else would this benefit? And I love the book idea. When I first started, when I wrote my first book, Visionaries with Guts, back in 2009, that was a collaborative project. And I was on a mission to raise a certain dollar amount of money within 30 days. And bam, it happened because I started thinking about who would this project benefit? And that's really the starting question, not how can I get the money from them, who would benefit? So I love this whole perspective you're coming from is, in my opinion, the new way of doing business. Right. And this is one of the reasons that you and I have connected for so long, because our core values and the foundation of how we do business is the same. And this is how we're changing the world together, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. We're coming up to the halfway mark and it's almost time to open for questions. And I know there'll be lots and lots of questions. Share with our audience and then we'll go through a couple of other things together. But I want you to share with everyone how they can take the next step. And oh my gosh, wait until you hear what she's doing just for you in our community. You're going to be blown away. Like she just told me right before we got on, I was like, what? Thank you for taking care of our people.
Yeah, so we have both, you can do either virtual. So we have a capital raising, what we call capital raising boot camp. And this program walks you through our 5-finger pitch. How do you create that language that in 5 minutes you can have the conversation? We give you templates for that. We also share various aspects of how to find the people that you're looking for. We also have experts. We have an IP attorney, an international IP attorney that shows you how to do an IP search, because your IP, intellectual property, becomes an asset to your company and something that that can be magnetic for partners and co-investors. We also have a former SEC attorney that talks a little bit. This is, how to remain compliant. Capital's for
I
keeps.
was wondering if it was our friend Russ.
Yes. So he did a segment in there. And the most exciting part that we don't actually publicize on the website is the famous, dear to our heart, Bernie Dorman, who was the founder of CEO Space International. He is kind of the master of raising capital, and they allowed us his training. So in there, you have hours and hours of capital training with Bernie Dorman that teaches you how to work a board and how to keep everything, organized and how to pitch. And so all that's included. So you can go to the website that Nancy put, businessacceleratonnetwork.com /capital, and you can download our free capital checklist. So this checklist, I developed this. Don't be nervous because there's a number of items there, but I wanted people to see, what did I have to have in place to get people to write me a 6-figure check, right? You don't need that. You just really need a good pitch or a good video or a good relationship. Just to let you know, it's very simple, but I wanted to have some of those pieces there. But I gave everybody 90% off. So if you use capital WPN as your code, you can actually get 90% off either the on your own program or on your own program with some sessions and support on your project.
Awesome. Are you doing a live event? Or is this a one-on-one scenario with if
So
I
we do have in our community, but I can open that up so people can join, and check it out. If you go to Media Magic, I'm sorry, capitalraisingmagic.com. We do once a month bring together everybody that's raising capital, and we support them and coach them and guide them in what they're doing. Oh, Nancy, we got to take out the S because it's a redirect to a page.
Okay, so we're going to go to so not HTTPS.
Yes,
capitalraisingmagic.com.
Yep, perfect.
Got it. And then Business Acceleration Network, that's with the S.
Yep.
Okay. Beautiful, beautiful. I don't know why this didn't come out the way I would like it to look. So hold on a second. So everybody listen up, jot these two things down. If you're with us on Zoom or on Facebook, what you want to do, there we go. That'll be better. Just one second, because you want these links. As I know you want these links. So first, go to businessaccelerationnetwork.com/capital. When you get there, you'll get the free checklist so that answers the question, what do I need in order to have someone write me a six-figure check? You all want that. Whether you want the money now or tomorrow or yesterday, you want that checklist, right? And then take a look at how you can take the next steps with Shannon. Click on that link and it'll take you to a done for you program, or I'm sorry, done with you, and a do it yourself program. Be sure to enter the code capital WPN, CAPITAL WPN, and you'll get 90% off. Like, can you see this woman's commitment to make sure that she brings whatever she can to help you be successful and prosperous? She's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So go to businessaccelerationnetwork.com/capital. And then when you go to checkout to do the done with you or the do it yourself program, enter the code capital WPN. The second place we want to go is to capitalraisingmagic.com. And that is a monthly event. It shows here the last event was October 10th. So just hold that link and you'll get it updated whenever you're having the next one.
I apologize.
That's
yes,
okay.
I'll get that. Yep. Before we get off, or when we get off, I'll forward that to this month.
Beautiful, beautiful. And join. So I guess you do those once a month, right?
Yes.
Okay. There will be many questions. I probably have some more questions, but I want to give everyone a chance to come on in. So this is the time in our program when you get the opportunity to ask your questions of our amazing guest today. So if you have a question, comment, insight, aha that you want to share, if you're with us on Facebook, just put your question in the comments and I'll bring it to Shannon. If you're with us on Zoom, unmute yourself or raise your hand and we'll take you. And I've already got a hand raised. I knew I would. Evie, welcome, Evie Diaz.
Good morning, Nancy and Shannon. My question was regarding the comment that you made about the benefit. I don't know if that was a tax benefit, a business benefit, and I was wondering if that was to the sponsor who was sponsoring the event. And I asked that, I wanted to know if that's something we should put in our sponsor package, because I have noticed that there is a difference, and I don't know if you notice in terms of sponsors wanting to come in. Before the pandemic, I had Kajabi and even Webinar Ninja, two big sponsors, and this year, and as the years have progressed since the pandemic, I see they want more in the package, but I don't see so many sponsors, and I'm wondering if that is a benefit that we should add there, or do they know that, or is that a benefit to us who are asking for the sponsorship?
That's a really good question. So those are two completely separate strategies. You have to be very, very mindful that the relationship-based royalty sharing is something that I suggest you use if you're looking for a larger chunk of money. So because really how we base them is sometimes 7 years of them getting royalty. So if you're doing a one-off event or you're doing something like that, I would probably just keep that in sponsorship. But maybe there's ways that we can explore of sweetening that for them, because it is definitely getting a little bit harder to get sponsorship. But I do know that there are a lot of companies, and again, I would go to chat. I would say, who's sponsoring events like this, and let me ask you this: do you use a sponsor pitch deck? Do you have a sponsor video? Either of those tools?
I have a pitch deck that I developed and have been improving since I've been doing my yearly conference that I give to them, and every year I update it.
Beautiful. Yeah, so those are important, and it also you may want to consider a video. So some of the creative ways that I've been able to get sponsors that maybe they're a little bit tougher is looking at ways to co-market them in some major places. So for example, here in our area, we use Spectrum TV. Well, Spectrum was doing commercials on Lifetime television for I think it was like $7 or $8 an episode, right? And so we had to start looking at creative ways, and then we just ran a banner at the bottom, this particular client, where we had their logos, we had their names, and so we really had to show them how they weren't just sponsoring the event, they were investing in marketing, because we were asking them to reallocate their marketing dollars that they spend on something else to co-market with us. And we kind of come in with that place of, consider us to be marketing your company. Does that help?
Yeah, but I was wondering about the, I don't know if it was a tax benefit, because this year I also helped a nonprofit and I was helping them raise money. And this was an issue even for the nonprofit, even though we were like telling them about the marketing and all they would get. So that's why I was wondering if there was a tax or some type of business benefit that we
Yeah,
could
so the royalty, there is absolutely a benefit to the individual that co-vests, and this particular model did actually come out of the nonprofit sector. So this was one of the things that they used to be able to help raise funds. But again, it does need a strategy. So even though I'm saying this is simple, this is something where you do have to look at it holistically around your business, because you are involving them in your revenue, and you're going to be exposing, this is what we're making, and this is where we're going. But yes, royalty is something that is very attractive because of the tax benefits, and usually we have an expert that will explain that and share with them the benefits from the tax realm.
Thank you.
Awesome. Really, really good. So Evie, thanks for bringing up those questions, and
really good
Shannon
questions
for clarifying. Really good. Really,
Yeah.
really good. And let me mention, a couple of people said they were having an issue with the link. So let me spell it for you. So go to businessacceleratonnetwork.com/capital. So business acceleration is ACCELERATION network.com, businessacceleratonnetwork.com/capital. Remember that coupon code to save 90%, capital WPN. So go ahead and head over there to grab the savings. And we've got several questions in the chat. Are you ready?
Yes.
April asked, and April, if you want to unmute yourself, you can ask the question also. She said, is there a formula for successfully getting grants for-profit business, and how different is it for a nonprofit? So grants for a business.
So the formula is to apply, and not when you look at what's there, it's great to connect in person if possible with who is doing it. So I'm just going to share it's a little different, obviously. You always have to read the fine print, but I know that when I've received grants in the past and shared them with others, a lot of times people will read the segment and they'll say, I don't qualify. And every single one of them, would have qualified, but they took themselves out. So I just want to make that one point is the biggest thing is to take the step to apply. Let them reject you. Don't reject yourself. Does that make sense?
That was big. That makes total sense.
It's huge because what happens, like I've gotten 2 different grants. It was about total of $30,000. And I know one of them, they actually came back to me and I was running up against a roadblock and they actually made some variants based upon the project to give the funding. They said, wow, okay, well, we can do this. And just want to really emphasize just to apply. And much like media or anything that we do, really follow their instructions. If they say, this is what I want, do it completely, do it thoroughly. Don't, how do I say this? In media, sometimes we fire hose and we give so much information. It's like, try to get it as quick, clear, and concise in what's there. Does that help, April?
It helps a lot. Thanks so much.
Yeah, and I love that you brought this up because oftentimes when you think of grants, most people think, oh, I have to be a nonprofit to get a grant. No. And you don't. No. Right. Well, so let's bust that myth right now. There are organizations, there are governments who have funds set aside in order to accomplish something, and they give grants out to companies who will perform the function, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually, so foundations, some of these big foundations are required by law, part of their jurisdiction. I don't know the proper term for it, but many of them have to, part of their impact investing, have to give money to other organizations. So yeah.
Huge. Great question. Thank you for that. I see Fran's got a question. I'm going to ask, let's bring Fran and then Raksha. I will get your question brought to the table. Hi, Fran.
Good morning. I'm running around getting ready for my next appointment. And I heard Shannon. I said, I got to go. No makeup, but here I am because this is that important. So I'm here to say just recently, I didn't realize what was going on. And I wanted to point this out to other people in case you're in this situation. You have something out there that you love doing. Your hands are tied because you can't grow and you have everything in your mind where you want to go with it. And you're waiting till things slowly get better. Shannon introduced me to a book called 10X is Better Than 2X. And it was a fantastic attack, it connected to this whole philosophy altogether. So with that, and with calling Shannon and saying, I need you, this changed the course of my business to do this because I was waiting each week to get better and better to do and get all I needed. So don't hold back. There's nothing wrong and nothing shameful about not having the money to to put into your business. And there are people out there who really will believe in you. So I just want to thank you, Shannon. This week, and Shannon and I have been friends for 20 years, but this week was the week I want to give you a gold star for what you did this week for me. So thank you so much. This was amazing.
It was really great. We had a short call. We were able to talk about what she has, how to do it. Some of the maps, gave her some samples of what I've done in the past. And so thank you, Fran. People really need what you do. So I'm excited that you're expanding.
Thank you.
Yay. Very good. I love the synchronicity.
I'm going to add one other thing just to piggyback on what Fran said. Not only is she expanding, but she's giving others the opportunity to benefit with her. So that's the difference when you start co-vesting, bringing on partners, is really not only is she getting the benefit, but really she's allowing people to invest in her and benefit on her efforts.
So good. Love, love, love it. Thank you, Fran. And you and I have known each other close to 20 years.
Right around the same time, yes.
The magic continues.
It's one of the foundations of my business. I was a founding member of WPN, met Shannon at her events in Fort Lauderdale. And you never know who you're going to meet that will change your life, right? Both of you have. It's
a beautiful thing. Just show up and be the one.
Yes.
Yes.
That's where the magic happens. All right, beautiful. Love you, Fran. Thank you for being here. And kudos to you for reaching out to Shannon and saying, okay. And that you brought up something so important. When you are struggling, stop trying to figure it out by yourself.
Yeah.
There are others who want to support you and have resources that your brain can't think of, especially when we're struggling. We're not in a creative mode, we're in a survival mode, right? So reaching out to others is absolutely key. So thank you for
that was, I've had success in business many times, but I wasn't having it with this. And this is the thing that rocks my world, right? So I was thinking, why isn't that I can't do it? And I just wanted to speak to those people today who might be sitting there saying, I don't even know where to go next, right? There are a lot of people out here. Shannon's got the Business Acceleration Network where they get together all the time to help people lift each other up. It's just amazing. You have all these things that I can't even get to them all, but yes, you have so many events. There are people out there who really want you to succeed, and you've got to, let them know. Be vulnerable.
Yep. Yep. My friend Burge always says your strength lies in your vulnerability.
Yeah.
So it's very fun. All right. Thank you, Fran. Love you bunches. All right. Let's go. Let me bring Raksha, if you want to unmute yourself. I will. You're not going to need to be on camera or anything, so don't worry about that. And Raksha's question is, in order to get sponsorships, I think she's referring to, do you have to have a certain amount of following? Like, I think, I've got to have thousands and thousands in my network, and who's going to want to give me money to sponsor? So bust that myth, my friend.
Yep, that was exactly what I was meaning.
So what's beautiful is that you just need one person or two people or whatever you're looking for. I often tell people, crowdfunding is another way of raising capital, but instead of getting 100 people to give you or $1,000 each, you can just go and find the one. So it takes the one. But I want to feed back. The most important thing is, even if you don't have the following, you have a community right here at WPN. So you have a following, right? You've invested in this community, you've connected with them. So you have a following just right now by being in other communities such as this.
Oh, okay. I wasn't aware if you could leverage those.
Yeah, it's all the relationships you have, right?
Relationships.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Like Raksha, when you asked that question, it prompted me to think about the speakers retreat.
Yes.
And getting a sponsor for the speakers retreat so that maybe you could offer it to get somebody to sponsor the venue, get somebody to sponsor the photography rather than paying all of them, get them to become co-vestors or partners. And then you're bringing them people, because if I go and I get one video done, I'm probably going to need more video work. So let's rethink.
Wow. I
Right? You got
it? Right.
Yeah, that could be another way to go about this.
I have so many wheels turning in my head right now, Nancy.
Good. Well, reach out to Shannon so we can maybe take those to the next level. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And again, I want to encourage everyone, go to businessaccelerationnetwork.com/capital. Get the checklist, which is absolutely free, and then take the next step with Shannon. The Done With You is where you get some sessions with her and you get all the materials in the course. The Done By Yourself, which you can do, but I would recommend the Done With You, of course, is $50. She's giving us 90% off when you use the code capital WPN. All right, so just do it. Find $50. It will be well invested, right? So good. All right. Thank you, Raksha. I'm looking forward to seeing where the wheels take us. So we got the wheels turning, where they're going to take us, right?
Okay, thanks.
Beautiful. All right, let's go next to Evie's. Good morning, Evie's.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for this another wonderful Wednesday. And I have a question because I in the past when I was doing events, I always tried to get sponsors, but I never was successful. So I wanted to ask if you wanted to find sponsors for different things, let's say to make happen an idea, another one to sponsor an event, and another one to sponsor a foundation or organization that you want to do? How can we do that, and what's the difference?
So, do you have 3 different things you're working on that you want to fund? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Okay, so it is, each one will need its own individual tools. It's all about the toolkit. And in that program, we talk about the 5-finger pitch and give you templates for what Bernie would call your magic folder. So it's the same thing with sponsors. You do have to be mindful when you have multiple things going on to really know who you're speaking with and not present all 3, right?
Yeah.
Try to find out where they best fit and say, well, I have this opportunity where I can support you. Again, it's how can you support them? How can you help them to collaborate in this way, and then share what you're doing. But each one, you do need to have individual magic folders and material for those items.
Okay. Thank you.
That was good. Very good. All right, my friends. Thank you, Evie. Thank you, everybody, for bringing your questions. We may have time for one more. And actually, I am inspired to ask Darlene to come on. So, Darlene, if you can, I'd love to see you unmute yourself, because we started off before anybody else was here, and Darlene was sharing about this new podcast that she's starting, right? And as I think about the technology she's going to need, being able to market it, like a sponsor or a co-vestor for this podcast would be huge to help her launch in an amazing way. So, Darlene, I'm putting Shannon on the spot. To brainstorm some ideas for you.
Yeah, you know what? That would be so amazing to have some ideas of what I can do to continue to reach my broader audience. And I think the idea that you're talking about sponsorship, when you were talking about getting in the right rooms with the right people, I was like, okay, I was going to be nice and let everybody ask their questions because I was here early. However, I would like to know, as a caregiver, I'm going to be reaching out to those audiences. I'm going to be wanting to collaborate with other organizations that may do some of the things that I do, reaching and connecting with similar people. I would love to be able to know what kind of direction can I go in, because my podcast, I'm putting together the episodes. My podcast should be out by the end of this month. So if I can start doing some things and connecting with some good folk, that would be like invaluable. And I'm going to listen.
So I hear 2 things, Nancy, if it's okay if I can share. Once is how to connect with the people, and then also how to get sponsors for the podcast and some of those ideas.
Yes, both.
Does that,
if you've got time.
Okay. So let me just talk about the money part of the podcast, if that's okay. Have you done a business model canvas?
No, I have not.
Okay. So again, when you start bringing on co-investors or people to invest, that business model canvas is like a business plan and a snap. And that will get you really clear. And if you don't know what it is, you can just put business model canvas. There's a whole Wikipedia section on it. But this is what they teach in universities now. This is what banks are using for funding. Like, you can literally use this. And this is what, when you start bringing on co-investors at a bigger level, this will help you just get all the pieces in order to be able to share with them. Okay, we're going to do this for marketing, and here's our audience, and here's our revenue streams, and here's our so I think this business model canvas is a game changer for your business, but also attracting partners. So as far as finding your people, so when we talk about finding your people, is it also finding people that might play with you as far as sponsorship and funding? Yeah. So
absolutely.
I know this is a little different, but I think fundraisers are one of the best ways to meet affluent people and people that are willing to write checks. And so there are so many healthcare fundraisers. There's a lot that's going on. You have to be mindful. You don't want to go there pitching. You don't really want it's all about building relationships. So you want to show up early, see if you can staff and volunteer and help, right? So fundraisers to me have been one of the greatest ways to really get in a place with affluent people that are used to writing big checks.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much. And this entire session was so helpful and gave me some new ideas. So I'm definitely checking out. I signed up and I'm ready to rock and roll. Thank you, Shannon. And thank you, Nancy. I appreciate it.
Nancy. Thank
You are
so much,
welcome.
Nancy.
It was a perfect opportunity. I'm like, let's serve Darlene. Yeah.
Well, Nancy,
Absolutely.
I just want to say thank you so much, because I know right now the economy's shifting, inflation is happening. That's part of why, there's many things I could talk about, but when you gave me this opportunity to share with our wonderful sisters, I'm just so grateful, because there is really money out there everywhere, right? We may just have to be a little more creative or think out of the box, and so thank you for letting me share this, so hopefully we can inspire. I feel like my intention was met. We've inspired people to think
Totally.
different.
Yeah, totally. And thank you for showing up with the mindset, how can I help the most people at this particular time?
Yeah.
Right? Because that's going to shift as you change, as the economy changes, as people change and what they need changes. We always want to take a look at, and I love how you talk about it. What do I have? What is in my toolbox that I can help other people with? Start with that, and then seek the people who would benefit from those things, not only for your clients, but for partnerships, investors, co-investors, and sponsors. It's a bigger world out there. We need to stop being so granular. Any clients? Oh, wait, what else is out there?
One more thing that I shared with Fran, and this is also for the podcast, is the people you know are the easiest ones to share, because they know, like, and trust you. So don't be afraid to ask family. Don't be afraid to ask people that you know. Don't be, I encourage you to even ask people that you look up to, right? Like, remember the Millionaire Woman? It was like people that, and even if you don't look up to them, but they expect you to, it's really important to just work with who you know and ask that question. Do you or somebody you know might be interested in helping me? So that gives them the opportunity. Or just, who do you know? And then many times people go, oh, I want to help. I want to be that.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing. And the 5 pillars of the pitch, is that what you call it?
5-finger pitch. Yep.
5-finger pitch, right? So that is something you all want to get really good at. So be sure you go to businessacceleratonnetwork.com/capital, enter that coupon code, capital WPN, CAPITAL WPN, get 90% off. And either way you go, whether you do the done with you or the do it yourself, you'll save 90%. Like, every business owner needs to invest in this now. Like, don't wait, do it. Shannon, thank you for being a longtime friend, colleague, mentor, woman that I can laugh with and cry with.
We've had a lot of that. Yes.
That's right. And for pouring into our community in this beautiful way today. I appreciate you, as I know everyone here does. Let's show Shannon some love. Thank you for joining us today. Make sure you get out there today. The most important thing is to be the one for yourself, for your vision, and for others. And when you begin with that, everything else will follow. Be that domino ripple effect. Once again, thank you, Shannon.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you,
You're
everyone.
welcome. Have an amazing day, everyone. Bye for now. We'll see you next week for another wonderful Wow Wednesday. Bye, everyone.
Bye.